What is up, my friends? How the bloody hell are we? I'll tell you how we are. We're top of the league is how we are. So, ladies and gentlemen, lots to get through today. We're going to be trying to figure out, has Mohamed Salah been trolling us with some of his little announcements? We're going to be figuring out what's going on at Arsenal, because I thought they'd won the league. When we drew at Newcastle, hadn't they won the league then? At least, I don't know, that's how I felt. So, yeah, we're going to try and figure out what's going on there. Mind the gap, by the way, lads. Chelsea showing that there's at least one team in London with a pair who were able to show up and fight back. But, that moment where Arsenal thought they had it at the end, 2-1, that was a joy to behold. It really was. Just seeing the hearts break when the VAR official said, no, boys, that's offside. And Arsenal fans trying to reinvent football then and change the rules. But, come on now. Didn't even last a week. Didn't even last 1 week. We set the pace. We draw with Newcastle. Everybody gets overexcited from an opposition fan perspective. And then you were talking about Arsenal's triumphant march all the way to the title that didn't last 1 week. So can we get back to a sense of normality now where everybody can just say, calm down. Liverpool are the team to catch. And I'm not saying we've won the league. I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is, like I've said all the way through, Arsenal are not going to turn into Manchester City reincarnated overnight. They still have that touch of North Londonness about them. So let's talk about that. And Spurs, well, I don't even know what to say about Spurs. Spurs fans out there, all of our hearts go out to you. Because I don't know how you put up with it. I don't know how you look at it, live with it. It was mad. You got to give Chelsea the credit. They did fight back and they were a good side, like we said. So I'm not sitting here counting my chickens that the league's won. It's not. Long way to go. But I tell you what, I amn't half feeling a little bit smug after this weekend's results. We've seen Manchester City once again drop more points. Manchester United, well, And then Arsenal come up today and say, but lads, we'll win. Close the gap. We'll close the gap. 4 points, they were saying. It's almost as if they're full of it. So yeah, there you go. Enjoy it. Breathe it in. Suck it up. And by the way, what do you think of our thumbnail? Because that is me being a shithouse. No other way to say it. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on it. I thought it was quite good. McBottlers, I was quite proud of that. Do you know how it came about? We were in the Discord group and we were just chatting. And then we started talking about good films. So Superbad came up. We were talking about American Pie. And then I got an idea. I thought, hang on, we could get the McLovin ID card and we could change it. Put Arteta in to McBottler. Because remember, when we draw one game, that's all we had to listen to from Arsenal fans all around the world. You bottled it, we're coming after you, we're going to get there. How are you getting on? Have you learned some fucking humility yet? Probably not. But hey ho. So look, we're going to talk about that. We're also going to ask, has Mohamed Salah maybe sent some warning signs of what's to come? And I mean that in a good way. We're also going to be speaking about why Jamie Carragher needs to stop being so embarrassing. I know, rich coming from me. But I'm not sitting here in a Manchester United jersey. What the fuck is all that about? Sitting there doing a watch-along. By the way, they're all shit YouTubers. Like I've said to you before, that's all they're doing now. They just want to be YouTubers. Why is he wearing a United shirt on a watch-along of Liverpool-Newcastle when Arsenal are playing United? That is the most cringy bullshit I've ever seen in my life. Sorry, it is. And he also went on Sky today, by the way, Carrot, and said, Cole Palmer is the best player in the league. Mohamed Salah says hi, Jamie. I know, Jamie. I said Salah. I probably shouldn't mention him because we're not allowed to talk about Salah in the media because His Royal Highness Jamie Carragher said that it's embarrassing. Nowhere as embarrassing, Jamie, as you, a former Liverpool player, sitting there in a fucking Manchester United jersey with the cheek to talk to Mohamed Salah about embarrassing and not doing the right thing. Who are you trying to please? Please let us know, because genuinely us Liverpool fans are very confused. When you're not shouting down one of the greatest players of the Premier League era for daring to ask to get paid, you're wearing the United jerseys. Oh, he's having a go now again. Oh, he's back on having a go at social media. Hang on, I've just been sent something. So Anfield Edition posted, Jamie Carragher, I don't think there's been a better player in the Premier League than Cole Palmer. And then he said, maybe you should try harder at putting the full quote out. No, Jamie. Fuck you and your full quote. I was watching Sky And I heard what you said. So let's not start with the full quote, Jamie. You're going in on social media accounts once again because you can't stand over your own stupid comments. Jamie Carragher has really shown himself up over the last month. He's attacking Liverpool fans online. He's having a pop at Mohamed Salah and then professes to still be, I'm a Liverpool fan, I am. Are you, Jamie? Or is the inner blue really coming out now? Because I don't know who you're impressing. Because I don't know one single Liverpool fan that isn't absolutely appalled at this crap from Carragher. And he's going in now. Again, look, you probably know I said it, but your desperation for likes and retweets knows no bounds. The fucking irony of Jamie Carragher coming on and talking about other people looking for likes and retweets as he wears a Manchester United shirt with all his little United friends. And he has the cheek to go on and have a pop at Anfield Edition. Jamie, come on. Come on. That's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. He really is. I don't know what's gone wrong with him. I don't know who pissed in his cornflakes, but Cara needs to just stop. Because it's not Anfield Edition who's been a joke here, Jamie. It's very much you, bro. It's very, very much you. But this is what happens when you just surround yourself with yes men, Jamie. You know, on all these little shows that you do, just surround yourself with people who haven't got a pair of bollocks to call you out for it. Well, I will. Constantly. Over and over again. Because you are an embarrassment at this point. The Mohamed Salah stuff was bad enough, but now we're like, oh, Cole Palmer's the best player. You should put out the full quote. I watched it. I was watching Sky when he said it. And I just thought, oh my God. It just... Anyway. But the cheek of him to talk about other people wanting likes and retweets, sitting there in a shit watch-along in his United View Cam shirt. Come on. That's pathetic. Anyway, we move on. They all just want to be YouTubers these days. It's mad, isn't it? They're all just trying to be YouTubers. That's all. Laughing at us all a few years ago. Now look at them. All just trying to be us, but doing it badly. So, right, let's go. The full quote is, he said, Cole is the best in the last 18 months. That still doesn't make it any better. Exactly. Exactly, Mason. You're spot on, mate. It's nonsense from Carragher. You know, he's just trying to backtrack on it. He can't own what he said. It's just... Anyway, on Team Anfield Edition in this one, just in case anybody wondered. I was Team Anfield Sector before that as well. So look, let's get stuck into the title race, if we can, for a little while. Because look, I'm not going to say to you we've won the league. It's way too early for that. But I am saying to you, I'm feeling pretty confident right now. You know, I've come to the conclusion, in my mind anyway, that this game being postponed against Everton probably is a good thing for us. Alexis McAllister's going to get a lovely breather now. So he's suspended for the Girona game. He's suspended for the game against Fulham. So that gives Alexis a nice break. Also, some of the boys didn't have to play this weekend. Yes, that game is going to come down the line, but let's be honest, when we started this Champions League journey this year, we didn't know whether we'd be in the top 8 or, you know, we felt confident we'd be in the top 24. Well, I guess the fact that if we win against Girona, 18 points nearly guarantees us the top 8. It may do, depending on other fixtures. So then you look at it and you think, all right, okay, so we've avoided the playoff round. And maybe now we squeeze in that Merseyside derby, if that is when the Premier League puts that fixture in. And it could well be looking at the schedule. So, yeah, it's pretty good. You know, we've got a game coming up against Girona. You know, you feel confident enough on that one. They were beaten 3-0 by Real Madrid this weekend. Our boys should be rested. Then we have a home game against Fulham. I'm not taking that for granted. Fulham are a good side under Marco Silva. But you'd still feel confident with the way we're playing. And the fact we're early on Tuesday. So we're a 5:45 kickoff. Then we've got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday before we play again on Saturday. So we would hope that the boys are rested. There's going to be another opportunity then for Arne Slot the following midweek to rotate the team a bit as we go away to Southampton in the League Cup quarter-final. And then we've got that trip to Spurs where who knows what to expect that day. I don't know what Spurs will show up. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. Romero could be out. Van de Ven could be out. You know, he was both of them taken off today. Van de Ven maybe was a bit crampy, but they were rushing him back. And, you know, he scored one goal in that Spurs stadium now, and the crowd's going to get antsy. So we have a chance to, again, underline our own credentials this year. But as much as I'm going to laugh at Arsenal in this, I do want to talk about Chelsea in a minute because they deserve genuine credit. You know, they've went out there and they've bought a load of players and they spent 1.2 billion, and that's a whole other conversation. But fair play to Maresca. You know, that Chelsea team today dug in and got the result when the other team from London couldn't quite do it. Right, let's get some super chats up. I saw Kirk's dad is a massive United fan because of Vidic, so deal might be off. Also, Liverpool should look into signing Andreas Schaefer. Look him up. So, on the Kirk's thing, I would look. I don't know if his dad being a massive United fan would have anything to do with it or not, to be honest. But you would have to say, if you're looking at it from his career trajectory, and the offer does come in from Liverpool, and again, I don't know where we are with that situation, you would have to say common sense would be make the move to Anfield. You know, Champions League football, challenging for silverware. United, who knows what happens when they're Ruben Amorim, but if he's any sense about him and he wants to make sure his career counts, you know, he should come to Liverpool if that offer's there. Terence, thank you, mate, as well. You didn't actually put a comment in, but I appreciate your support, mate. Let me just refresh this for you. Where was it? Oh, it's gone. Dave, how are you, sir? Has Salah signed a new contract? The answer to that is we don't know, but I feel like he's trolling us a little bit. In a good way. In a good way. So Mohamed Salah put up a picture today, and the picture was some incense or something like that on top of 2 books on a table in front of his fireplace at home. Now, me being a bit of a lunatic with a tinfoil hat, start thinking, what happens here? So I've come to this conclusion. Now, slag me all you want because it is a bit mad. But I've come to the conclusion that that's him telling us 2 books for 2 years, and the white smoke, much like when a new pope is elected, you know, we get the white smoke. So, you know, that's what I'm thinking of it anyway. Now, it is a stretch. But if we add into that the news from other people like David Ornstein saying that Liverpool have made Salah an offer now. David Ornstein, in fact, has gone as far as to say Liverpool make an opening contract offer to Mohamed Salah. Doesn't mean an agreement is done or close. Any outcome expected to take a little bit of time. But he goes on to say that Salah, Virgil and Van Dijk, Salah, Virgil and Trent, have all received contract proposals from Liverpool now. So from here, I guess we'll get a better understanding of what direction this is going to go in. But confirmation from David Ornstein that they have received initial offers from Liverpool. James Delea said, Craig, I got a couple of M&M pretzels bags. Let me know how to get them to you. Oh, James. Honestly, mate, that's so lovely of you. Bro, I don't know where in the world you are, but wherever you are, I'll pay that shipping and whatever your costs were. If you could email me, James, contact@AnfieldAgenda.com, and I'll give you my address, whatever, and sort you out with whatever needs be, mate. That's so kind of you. That's made my weekend, bro. Thank you. Lauren said, what do I think of Robbo this season? So, it's been an up and down season, but he's starting to get into a rhythm now. The question was, did we believe Arne Slot that it was a rhythm thing with Robbo and he had a bit of a broken up pre-season? Obviously the Euros he was injured as well. So Arne Slot always felt like Robbo just was playing catch up a little bit. Now he's had that run of games and I think his form has improved. Do we ever see him back to the swashbuckling best Andy Robertson? That I'm not sure of, Lauren, but I think he's played quite well over the last couple of games, to be honest. Craig thinking outside the box. Oh, mate, you want to see it. Like, we're in our Discord group at the minute. We're all like sleuths in there trying to figure out what's going on. Somebody even posted, I think it was you, George, if I remember correctly, to say that Virgil posted a picture of the captain's armband and a poster of his jersey, or a picture of his jersey. Does that mean... I'm feeling pretty confident. I can't lie, I am. I'm feeling pretty confident about the contract situation outside of Trent. I don't know what to expect there yet. Eli Wood said, Robbo's last season as a starter, he's making the most of it. So, I don't know. See, for me, I think, move on Costas, keep Robbo, bring in the young left back, and then keep Robbo up for once a week. Play him once a week, keep him fit. And I think we'll still get many, many good years out of Andy Robertson. So, you know, I just think we need somebody that we can rotate him in with a bit more, and I don't think that's going to be Costas, to be honest. Although, To be fair to Costas, he's stepped up a bit this season. I still don't think longer term, though, he will be the successor. Benjamin said, this is not an excuse. Usually it is, though, mate, if we start off with that. At least when I do, it is. But I've heard from my friend in Spain. He's a lower tier sports journalist. He thinks Trent has signed too. Real Madrid are aware. Marca are going to troll Trent soon. Keep this post, team. You've been quite helpful, Benjamin, on the stuff around Trent with that report, as you said, from your friend in Spain. It certainly feels like the vibe over the last few days has been, or the last couple of weeks, has changed on the Madrid side a little bit. First, there was the talk about Pedro Porro. Then there was the problems about Trent's defending. Then there was the talk about Diogo Dalot. So yeah, let's wait and see. You probably could get a read on it, though, if Market and some others start coming out and knocking Trent a little bit. And I think this should have served as a warning anyway, Benjamin, to Trent, because you see how quickly things can change, how quickly you can go out of favour over there. So, maybe he needs to talk to his mate Bellingham about that, because he was coming in for a bit of grief this season. Ladies and gentlemen, I need to ask you a small favour. Top corner, you can see 3 subscribers away from 285,000. So if you could please hit that subscribe button, that would mean a lot to us. Oh, James, you're only in Cork. Nice. That's awesome. How did you get them? Oh, you're a hero, mate. Thank you. Appreciate that. And Benjamin also said, Troll and Trent, terrible spelling, but Real Madrid will sign a centre-back. Interesting. Thank you, mate. So look, our friends of 4-4 Tunes contacted me, and he wanted me to let you guys know about a fun new thing that they put out. You can see the link pinned to the top of the chat. And apologies to Joe for tonight, because we will make sure we make the stream up to Joe by putting his link back in again for an extra stream. But tonight, our friends at 4-4 Tunes have launched a limited edition set of what they're calling Super Suckers. Not my words. But I want to show you what they are. So 1 second. As you can see on the screen there now, they are basically a starting 11 of Liverpool players, or the Merseyside Reds, as I should say, that you can buy. It's limited to 100 sets. I'm going to get a set. I'm going to stick them on my fridge as well. So if you guys want to treat yourself to something a little bit special ahead of Christmas, or get a Liverpool fan in your life, something a little bit different, why not check out these? The link is pinned to the top of the chat and will be in the description of this stream as well. And they come from the guys of 4-4 Tunes, and much love to them for everything that they do. Big fans of all their work of 4-4 Tunes. So yeah, might not treat yourself to something a little bit different this Christmas. And thank you again to our friends of 4-4 Tunes. Right. Actually, I have a smaller one as well. We'll put that up on the side there for a little bit as well, just so people can see it. Craig, I'm very calm. Arsenal, Chelsea and Man City cannot defend, so we will win the league, said Wayne. So for me, look, I'm not at a point yet where I'm going to say we're going to win the league. But I am at a point where I feel like we need to start understanding that these teams chasing us, let's not try build them up into something that they aren't. Points are going to be dropped. We're going to drop them. Chelsea are going to drop them. Arsenal are going to drop them. So yeah, don't worry about it. It's all good. You've hit your mark on subscribers. Congratulations. Awesome. Thank you so much. Only 15k to go now till we get to the 300,000. But to all of you that have subscribed, that have supported the channel, thank you so much. Chelsea are gaining. Yeah, look, Chelsea are in a good place. And you look at the Chelsea squad. They're young, plentiful and hungry, but I still think that lack of experience of what a title race comes from will see Chelsea maybe become a little bit unstuck. But all credit to them. I'm not trying to take away from them. I've tried to say in recent weeks Arsenal and Chelsea are going to be there or thereabouts with us, and look, if Chelsea can keep it up, give them their credit. But also, if we win the game against Everton, we're still 7 points clear of them. We're back to then 9 points clear of Arsenal. And we'd be back to 11 points clear of Man City. So, I don't believe for 1 second that these teams are going to be able to catch us. But, prove us wrong. Dave Smith. How are you, mate? Said 29 months, it's more than 5 years, but feels like 5 minutes. Well, thank you for being with us, Dave, all the way through. Appreciate you, even when you're familiar to billions. Dave, LFC96 said, I get the feeling Trent doesn't want to be here. Maybe I'm wrong. He just doesn't look the same. Like on the pitch, world class, but off it just doesn't look happy. Well, it might be a difficult, confusing time for Trent. You know, I've always tried to say this. I've always understood that it is tempting. You know, it is a huge club that have won umpteen amounts of trophies, where one of his best mates is playing, and, you know, they have eyes for him. But I just never felt like it was the right move for Trent at this moment in time, particularly with how good we've been and how good Arne Slot's start has been. But it's going to be Trent's decision ultimately, mate, so we'll see what happens. Did Sky Sports not report Salah signed a 2-year deal? No. So people very much get confused on this stuff. Sky Sports have back pages, which is where they round up all the newspaper headlines. And one of the headlines, I think it was from the Mirror, if my memory's right, had lent into that they believed Salah had signed a new 2-year deal. So you know me, I'm happy to call out Sky for stuff, but not on this one because it was just part of their back pages headlines that came in, and I'm almost sure it was from the Mirror. I'm just looking back through my notes, 1 second. Yeah, it was from the Mirror. It says, Mo Salah on the brink of signing 2-year contract extension with Liverpool. But again, take it with a pinch of salt until we get the confirmed news. So, TGK, I'll say this once real quick. There is no more Red Mist podcast, mate. So, you know, I've mentioned it multiple times on streams now. Not going to go into it in any more detail. That's on me, like I've said before, but there is no more of it, mate. Just consider that me shitting the bed with it and it's done. Right, I want to talk for a second about Manchester United, because David Ornstein came out with an exclusive earlier on today, which I'm very intrigued to know your reading of. So, David Ornstein said, exclusive, Dan Ashworth leaves Manchester United after 5 months as sporting director. The 53-year-old's move from Newcastle has not worked, and departure agreed in a meeting at Old Trafford last night, presented by both sides as mutual. That's mad. Like, what the fuck happened there? Because they waited a long time to get him. And, you know, there was a big hold-off. They brought in Omar Barada, and he was part of their dream team structure that they were putting in place, and gone. That is genuinely astonishing to me. Does Radcliffe know what he's doing at that club? This isn't a trolling question. This is a sincere question, because I don't understand how you could know that he's the guy so much and then that quickly gone. Let me just refresh that. YouTube boot me on my own chat again. 1 second, folks. Yeah, bear with me. YouTube booted me chat down for a second. So if that refreshes for you, it'll take 1 sec. I don't know why YouTube kicked me out there, but it's happened a few times. Right, sorry. I'm playing catch up now. Someone said Radcliffe didn't want Dan. But wasn't he part of their big, like, push when Radcliffe came in? You know, I remember him coming in and then... you know, that been a big song and dance about him and Omar Barada and what else? I don't know. Look, it's not our club and I don't really understand what's going on there, but it's not a great look when you can't even keep continuity for that long. So we'll wait and see what happens. A little bit of good news, by the way, from West Ham around Michail Antonio, which was so lovely to see again today. So look, the fact that the crash happened isn't good news whatsoever, of course, but after seeing the initial photos, I was worried. But they did release a statement to say West Ham United can confirm Michail Antonio has undergone surgery on a lower limb fracture following a road traffic accident on Saturday afternoon. Michail will continue to be monitored in hospital over the coming days. Everybody at the club wishes Michail a speedy recovery and wishes to express its sincere gratitude to the football family at large for the overwhelming support shown since yesterday's news, as well as extending a heartfelt thank you to the emergency services and first responders who attended to Mikhail in the immediate aftermath of the incident and the medical team who continue to aid him in his recovery. The club will provide further updates when appropriate. That is, I think, the best news that the whole football world could have hoped for. And again, you know, sending all of our love and best wishes to Mikel Antonio. We have banter, him and Liverpool fans, but look, it's all love. It's all part of the football family. And again, to those first responders and the medical staff as well, absolutely incredible work from everybody, and genuinely great to hear that Mikel Antonio will, you know, be able to go home to his family and that. So, yeah, well done to everybody. Craig, Spurs doing Spurs, who would have thought? Yeah, it's Arsenal doing the best Spurs impression as well, though, you know. So maybe it's a North London thing. Maybe we're onto something here. That was crazy though about Spurs. Like, you go into a 2-goal lead, 2 slips from Marc Cucurella, and then bottle it. And by the way, 2 of the most idiotic penalties you'll ever see given away. Basuma goes to ground stupidly when there was no need to, and then Palmer running away from the penalty area, and they run. I think it was Sarr, if I'm correct, ran through the back of him. 2 absolutely brain-dead penalties to give away. So, madness from Spurs. Glad we got Slot, not Amorim. Well, look, I still stand over Ruben Amorim's a very, very good coach. And I don't think anybody should ever have expected him to come in there and fix things overnight. But I think maybe he underestimated the job that he's taken on there at United, because they were shocking again. You know, so let's wait and see. Terence, thank you so much, mate, for your super chat. Oh, I have to refresh this as well. Sorry, Terence. 1 second, bro. I'll bring this up on screen for you. Nope, it's disappeared there now. So, Terence, thank you for your super chat, mate. My system booted off on the back end. So, Ben Jacobs also posted something about Salah's contract, and he said, there's still work to do on Mohamed Salah's extension. Richard Hughes is leading talks and Liverpool remain calm, but nothing is agreed yet. Discussions have been described as positive, but feeling remains it could still take time. Still all better to read though. You know, because remember, a week ago we were talking about why have none of them got offers? Why are we not, you know, at least starting the ball rolling? Now we know, as per David Ornstein, that Trent, Virgil and Mo have all at least received initial outline offers now from the club. And hopefully we lead this to some good news soon. David said, as you say, you can't polish a third with Amorim. Yeah, absolutely. But he's trying. He's got his best polish out. But that third's just not being reshaped yet. What about Omar Marmoush? Honestly, mate, I don't have anything on Marmoush at the moment. I am recording with David Lynch tomorrow. We're going to be recording together at 3 o'clock. So, you know, keep an eye out for that video. I've also recorded my preview for the Girona game. That's going to come out tomorrow morning. So keep an eye out for that one coming out. Spoiler alert, I have gone for a Liverpool win. So, let me ask you guys a quick question. Has your thought process on the Girona game changed now a little bit because the Everton game was postponed? So I was thinking that's a really short turnaround. But now the Everton game's been postponed, I think maybe we'll see Arne go a little bit stronger than perhaps he would have initially. That's my thoughts on that anyway. I was probably going to try to squeeze in a couple more changes when I was doing out my initial preview, or pre-preview as I like to call them, because I usually do them out a week in advance and then change it as I need to getting closer. But the fact the Everton game was postponed makes me think he's going to go very strong, and then of course we've got plenty of time then until we take on Fulham at Anfield. Michael Bennett said, has anybody just come to terms with Trent leaving? I don't think I've come to terms with it, but I've certainly opened up my mind to it being possible. But I don't think, even if he does, I don't think I'll ever be coming to terms with it for me if he does leave. I think it'll just be different shades of disappointed. So I'm hoping that we don't have to feel that disappointment. Let them relax, refresh, and use the full squad against Fulham. But they've had a break here, mate. I don't know. You know, and also, I would say, Gear, mate, to add on to what I've said, the following midweek, we're going to be in the League Cup against Southampton away in the quarter-final. So there might be a chance there for Arnold to mix it up a little bit as well. Adam Reynolds says, Chiesa starts, thoughts. I'll be very surprised, Adam, if he starts, because he's only had a run out with the 21s. I like, even to get an hour out of him, I don't think we'd be there yet. I think you're going to see, I think he'll get some minutes. I think he may come off the bench against Girona, but I think it's a little bit too early for him to start. You know, I'd be probably aiming for him and Elliott maybe to start the game against Southampton in the League Cup. Can we do a poll? Yeah, I can do that poll, Monkstown Glass. 1 second, mate. Let me just get this poll up for everyone. 1 second. Cool. So, Monkstown Glass asked me to ask the question, is Mohamed Salah currently the best player in the world? So, let's he couldn't be though, mate. Because Palmer's the best player, remember? We were told that by Jamie Carragher. Terence, Governor, how are you, sir? It's Terence from South Africa. Love your show. Thank you so much, mate. Really appreciate you being with us. I think Slot has what it takes to make Liverpool the champions of the league. We need to trust him and give him time. Well, Terence, I'm a little bit smug about Arne Slot, because when we announced that Arne Slot was going to be the new coach, I was very confident that we'd got the right man. And, you know, there were other people, and I'm not saying people in our chat, but there were people who thought that whoever came in after Jurgen was destined to fail. You know, you'd other players talking, or former players talking about sacrificial lambs coming in, the shadow of Jurgen. But I've always believed in Arne, because he turned down the chance to go to Leeds, turned down the chance to go to Spurs, turned down other top jobs, but obviously looked at the Liverpool situation, knew Jurgen was leaving him a good squad, and knew what he needed to do. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say I thought we'd be in the position we're in now. I didn't. Absolutely not. Didn't even think we'd be in a title race, to be honest with you. But I knew we was going to be a success. So I'm feeling a little bit smug now, Terence, about it all. But also, bald is better. I've said it many times. You know, bring in the closest thing to Anfield Agenda as the manager, and look what happens. So one more thing. I've decided no bus parade this year. No bus parade. Doesn't matter if we win 1 trophy, 2 trophies, 3 trophies, or 4 trophies. No bus parade. Hear me out before you have a go at me. Here's what I'm thinking. Forget the bus parade. That's so in the past. What we need is to get a big ass barge straight down the Mersey, sign on the side of it, HMS pissed the league, and the boys on there partying, sailing down the Mersey. Comes to a crescendo as they dock up. Big party on the pier. You know, great bands, music, the whole shebang. I've done it. I boxed it off for us all. So there you go. We will ferry down that Mersey, parading whatever the silverware is on HMS Went and Pissed the League. Job done. See? Job done. See what I mean? Easy peasy. Don't have to worry about traffic. Don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Straight down. Bing bang bosh. Albert Dock party. Exactly. Tanya. Have a little sail past the Bramley-Moore Aquadome on the way past. Little sail past there. Then we rock up. You know, Jamie Webster giving it socks on the guitar. Everybody has a party. You know, job done. Would you start Kelleher, Arnold, Gomez, Van Dijk, Robbo, Endo, Gravenberg, something like that? Pretty much, mate, yeah. Pretty much that 11. Do you think we'll make signings before the summer? Said Jeremy. I hope so, Jeremy. I really feel like we need to sort the midfielder out in this January window. As it approaches, I'm starting to feel a bit more confident that we will. But that confidence isn't built off anything, to be honest with you. It's just we've started to see a couple of names start to creep out now. And we hadn't really seen too many names that Liverpool had been linked to. So, there was the kid from Torino, I think it was. There was Baleba from Brighton. Obviously, Zubamendi. So let's wait and see. But for me, I think it would be too big of a risk not to address at least one position in January, because we know that we're going to have a busy second half of the season. We know that injuries are going to start to stack up, same as every other team. So we don't want to have any fall off, and anything that we can do, I guess, to try to prevent that, I think we need to do it. So if that's bringing in another midfielder, let's get that sorted. Get Craig on the boat. Yeah, I could be the body double for Arne Slot. Simple. When Arne needs a little breather, maybe wants to go rock a piss or something, I can jump up there and pretend to be him. She'll be like, jeez, Arne's looking very bloated today, isn't he? Yes, Samuel Ricci, that was the one, Joe. Yeah, that was the one, Joe. Thank you. Charlie, oh, you got me blushing, bro. Said, hey, beautiful. If we have a bad January window with no signings, do we start questioning Hughes and Edwards? We need that defensive midfielder. Oh, this for me is going to be a very difficult one, Charlie, because I don't want to rock the boat, right? I don't want to throw any toxicity on the situation that we're in. But I don't know if I'll be able to bottle my frustration if we don't do something in the January market. I'll just fear the worst, mate. If we don't do something, I'll just fear we'll have something that'll give us a wobble. But I guess it depends on the circumstances around it. As an example, let's just say for 1 second that we heard that we were going to be signing Zubamendi nailed on next summer. Just as an example, then maybe I think about the window a little bit differently. But ultimately, I do want us to get that signing. Is Zubamendi possible in January or strictly next summer? A lot of the talk has been about him moving on next summer. And I can't sit here and say that I know anything to suggest it could be January. I don't even know next summer that if he does leave Sociedad where he goes. I still fear that if it is next summer, he may end up following Xabi Alonso to Real Madrid. So we'll have to wait and see. But ultimately, what we can't have happen is us missing out on more targets in another window. Because they've had plenty of time now to sort out, to look at and to track players that Arne wants between when they came in and now. So, they had an excuse in the summer. Arne wanted to get an assessment of the team. They needed to play catch up with their jobs. Now I don't think there's an excuse. Pranav, how are you, my friend? Said, Craig, do you think Slot will go full strength or rotate a bit versus Girona, hoping to see Diogo and Ali? I think Alisson may be close. I don't expect Diogo to be in the squad, to be honest with you. I don't know how we can rotate too much. Look at it this way. Can't really rotate at left back. Can't really rotate at right back. Virgil has to play. So you're probably putting Joe in. Then you're into midfield. No Maka. So you're probably going to see something like Maka, Jones, Soboslai. Maybe Trey Leone can get some time off the bench. Elliott probably isn't fit enough to start yet. Through attack, Salah got to play in the Champions League, of course. I don't see how there is much ability to rotate. Chiesa, again, you're probably looking at minutes from the bench. So yeah, I doubt it. I think it's got to be pretty strong. And also, this could box off top 8 for us, depending on how other games go this week in the Champions League. David Smith said, we need a proper goal scorer. Nunes have everything but the finish. It's a pity we don't have a Fowler type. I think, for me anyway, I'm looking at the summer for the forward position. Unless maybe an offer came in that the club wanted and everybody was happy with it and somebody moved on in January. But I think you're probably going to wait and see what... Like, Chiesa could end up playing through the middle, as an example, if he keeps up his fitness. And then we'd have him, Darwin and Jota all kind of fighting for that position. So I think let's wait and see if we can keep him fit. I wonder how much they'll pay Mo. Yeah, I'm kind of intrigued, Mark, to see that one as well. Yeah, it will be interesting. Look, I just want them done. Same as yourself, Mark, and everybody else. I just want the contracts done. The Liverpool fella said, I think if Trent leaves, Frimpong is the guy. I really don't. Yeah, I just don't see it. I think they're too different. And the way that we play is just not set up to get the most out of a Frimpong. If you were playing in an Amorim system at United, I think Frimpong would make a lot more sense. But for us, nah. I think bring in another proper right back, as in a defensive right back, and then you've got Bradley there as well. And again, we're talking about worst case scenario here if Trent leaves, but I just don't see Frimpong as that guy. I am... Tyler Gray said, apparently all three players have been presented terms on a contract. Yep, we spoke about this a little bit earlier on. I'll read it out for you again. So David Ornstein said, Liverpool make opening contract offer to Mohamed Salah. Does not mean agreement done or close. Any outcome expected to take time. But Salah, Virgil and Trent have all now received proposals and talks with Liverpool are ongoing. So that's certainly... you know, a good update. At least we know they have an offer in front of them now. Your ball knowledge is elite. Well, thank you. You know, I don't know whether it's to brag about this or not, but like, I don't really have a life, mate, outside of watching football and boxing. And, you know, I'm obsessed with football and always have been since I was 7 or 8 years of age. And I started playing it and watching it. You know, I watch as many games as I can. I read up as much as I can. I never really switch off from work mode. Even if it's 2 a.m, I'm reading articles and I'm trying to find stuff out. And yeah, it is my big passion in life outside of course, my family. But in saying that, you know, when I do start to get a little bit cocky and arrogant, and then I hear a Pep Linders, a Guardiola, a Kloppo actually talk about real football tactics and stuff, I realise I'm an idiot. I realise I actually don't know very much compared to the real stars. How's your Arnott impression? Awful. Awful, mate. You don't want me doing impressions. I'm terrible at them. Although I was semi-proud of me little John W. Henry one the other day. Do you think Tyler Morton could be the defensive midfielder we need? I don't. No, I don't. Did I see the boxing last night in TNT? I seen the main event. That was it. The Pauls fight. That was the only one I'd seen. I was working a bit late. So yeah, that was the only one I caught up with. Benjamin said, I'm a business owner, but obviously... less scale than Liverpool, but if we've held back on contracts for small money, that's embarrassing. Agents will ask to backdate and bonus payments anyway. Agreed. So, especially with players who are running to the end of their deals, a signing on bonus is a given, Benjamin, as you've said. So, yeah, look, I just want it to be resolved, mate. And if we do get it resolved, happy days. And thank you so much again, Benjamin, for your contribution, mate. You're so kind to me. Excuse me, I've had a cough for the past few days. That's why you probably hear my voice being a bit raspy. Red Alert. I love that account name, by the way, mate. Well in. He said, why has the media gone quiet on the Coote saga since the latest booking scandal? So, I've got to be honest, I didn't really follow the booking part of it too much. I know it was something to do with a Leeds game or something, but I guess they're just doing the investigation at this point. And these type of investigations, of course, have to be done confidentially, have to be done thoroughly. And I don't think they're just thinking it's going to go away, to be fair. But, you know, there's also a human side to this, and they have to make sure that, you know, yeah, if he gets any, if he needs help, he gets it. Somebody saying, oh shit, lag. There shouldn't be, because I'm hardwired in now. I'm on an Ethernet cable, so there shouldn't be any lag. Because I'm not connected to the Wi-Fi and I'm literally wired straight into the router, so I'm hoping there shouldn't be any lag. At least it's not showing up at my end. Let me get Mark. And by the way, I don't know the dude's name. I'm hoping maybe he's tuned in or something, but the guy that came out from the company to help us with the broadband, I could not say enough good things about the man. He was an absolute rock star and went through everything. Like, he was here for a couple of hours and he went through everything with us. And what a gent. So if he is watching, I want to say a massive thank you, because he was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Right, so Mark said, loving the results, been a Liverpool fan since I was 4 years old, now 43. We're the same age, bro. Exactly the same age. I'm 43 as well, so there you go. You've been a Liverpool fan longer than me, though. I was 8 when I became a Red. Andrew James said, if someone told me that in December we'd be top of the league, top of the Champions League, beat Real Madrid, I would laugh and say you're delusional. I know. And, you know, adding a little bit more to that, we beat Leverkusen. And by the way, I felt very, what's the word I'm looking for? Vindicated about that Leverkusen game, because all of last season, when everybody was, you know, dreaming about that final against Leverkusen in the Europa League, I always said we'd have their number. I always said we'd beat them. And I know we played them at Anfield, so defo more of an advantage, but doesn't surprise me one bit that we beat them. So yeah, we beat them. We've beaten United away. We've drawn with Arsenal. We've beaten Chelsea at home. You know, we've beaten City comfortably. Beaten Real Madrid. It's just great right now to be a Liverpool fan. Look, I get people that want to get ahead of themselves, but there's nothing wrong with being confident. It's not a fluke. You know, what we're seeing is good players with a good manager that are well drilled and have heart and bottle. So, long may it continue. Craig, thought you were 19. Oh, I wish, mate. No. 39.4, as I like to say. But yes, I am 43 years of age, which makes me feel very, very old. Mark said I had no choice. Oh, no, that's a different one, Mark. It's your next one I need to bring up. 1 second. This one. I had no choice with 3 brothers who were Liverpool fans. Nice. Well, I'm an only child, so I didn't have any brothers or sisters to steer me in any direction. So I found Liverpool all on my own. Oh, Sabrina's in the chat. Sometimes the lag can be on your own end. Now, look at the wife in defending and all. Look at this, huh? Shots fired from Sabrina. I've always told you she was an aggressive ginger little bitch. Do you think Darwin will start versus Girona? I wouldn't start him. But I don't know. You know, this should be a fairly straightforward game against Girona. You know, if this was the Girona of last year, genuinely I'd feel a little bit more concerned. But they've got rid of Dovbyk. They've got rid of Savinho, the kid who went to City as well. They just don't look the same team. They were beaten comfortably 3-0 by Madrid this weekend as well. So I think we'll win. And also, I want to just try and remember something. It was Girona who did the 20 quid tickets, wasn't it? For the Liverpool fans who were heading over. If I remember correctly, that was Girona. Which, well done for that as well. Class gesture. Charlie said, Wolves versus West Ham, loser gets sacked. Thoughts? So I'm definitely on Team Gary O'Neill there, because I never thought Lopetegui was a good appointment in the first place. I thought that it was a stupid appointment, in all honesty. So Yeah, I think Lopetegui's going to get sacked eventually, but I hope Gary O'Neill can turn it around because I like Gary O'Neill. Jay Stevenson said, in my opinion, I bring back Bajcetic in January. But the whole point there, Jay, is that he needed to get minutes over a season and show us that he can last the pace of a full league campaign without his body breaking down and that. So, totally understand where you're coming from, but not for me. I would say leave him where he is. Maybe it was Leipzig. Toby. Yeah, I knew it was one of the away clubs in the Champions League. It could have absolutely been Leipzig, yeah. But either way, fair play if it was. RC Thor 106 said, nah, Arsenal fans are delusional. So let's talk about Arsenal fans for a little bit, shall we? Over the last couple of years, I've started to have more and more interactions. Now, when I say let's talk about Arsenal fans, I'm going to just pick up my friend Lee Gunner and park him over here. Because I don't include Lee in this conversation. Because Lee isn't deluded in the way a lot of Arsenal fans are. So, I'm parking it up when I talk about Lee. But the rest of the Arsenal fans that I've seen, I have lost a lot of respect for. And not because their team's been up and down, or not because I don't like their manager, because there's been a sense of arrogance that I don't understand what it's founded on. And then also a very clear and apparent dislike for us, which I don't understand either. You know, everybody should be hating on City and what's going on in the way they've gone about the business. I've never understood this wanting to undermine everything that we do and compare everything that they do as better than us. So Saka, Salah. Why can't they just say Saka's a great player? Because he is. And so is Salah. You know, they're talking about, oh, we're going to win the league this year. City are falling off. It's going to be us. Well, again, when it comes time to show your bottle, you haven't done it. And here is one good example that I would like to show everybody. Chelsea today went to Spurs and fought back and won the game and went for the throw. Arsenal, at home, to us, were 1 goal ahead and ran to the corner flag like cowards with 15 minutes to go. So, I don't know where they get the arrogance. For a team that has won absolutely fuck all over the past 7 or 8 years, other than one FA Cup with Arteta, I don't know where they get this arrogance from. That they think they're going to just walk to the league. And also, the media need to be called out on this as well, because if we drop any points, it's immediately seized on. But yeah, Arsenal can go through a phase where they're awful and nobody says they're ruled out. City can come 11 points behind us and nobody's saying they're ruled out. But we draw one game and all of a sudden they were all up. All the Arsenal fans, this is it. This is the start of our march to glory. You didn't last a fucking week. Not 1 week. You know, I heard Arsenal fans going, oh, it's so easy for us. All of our games in London between now and January. Don't even have to travel that much. Look at the fixtures. This is easy. Didn't even last 1 week, lads. Not 1 week. You know, I'm not wrong. So I don't understand the arrogance. They're a good team. Arteta's pushed them on a bit. But they've shown nothing to show that they can actually hack a title race. Nothing. So, you know, am I wrong? Because I don't understand it. I always used to get on great with Arsenal fans. But I don't know what's changed in the last few years. But, you know, I'll go back to one of my appearances on the kickoff when I fell out with one of the Arsenal fans on there. Because from the second I arrived there, he was bullshitting and undermining Liverpool at every opportunity. And speaking with an arrogance that I just didn't think was deserved. What's happened to them? Have they always been this way, or I genuinely I'm a little bit confused by it all. I always thought Arsenal fans were reasonable, rational people. So look, let's go back to the poll. Is Salah currently the best player in the world? 1,500 votes in it, and 93% of people say yes. Yes, he is. Benjamin said, why is Arteta not under pressure? It's bizarre. He's won nothing. I agree the media are Arsenal-centric apart from Keane. I agree with that, Benjamin, as well. And another fair question is, when is Arteta, as you said, when is he under pressure? Because if it was our manager, imagine this was Klopp and he'd won FA Cup in 6 years. With the money that was spent at Arsenal, you know, bringing in Declan Rice, all the other players, you know, they've got a good squad. You know, I think there would be conversations about he's underachieved. And this was supposed to be the year, right? This was supposed to be their big year. You know, City wobbled a bit. Ooh, Arsenal going to be the one to go and push them for the league title. As I said, every time the pressure comes on, Arsenal keep dropping points. A couple more super chats to go through. 1 second. So, Harry said, first it was new manager, next we hadn't played anyone good, next it was only a 7-point gap, now it's any draw we get, we've lost the league. Yep, and don't forget, mate, we didn't have any injuries either. When we played Arsenal, they only had injuries. Remember. And their suspended centre-back, that was somehow not their fault as well. You know, it doesn't matter that we were missing the best goalkeeper in the world. That didn't come into account. They had an injury crisis that everybody else needed to feel sorry about. So, yeah, it's really soured me on a lot of Arsenal fans, which is why tonight's thumbnail is what it is. It is very much me taking cheap shots because, well, honestly, I enjoy it. I enjoy being a bit of a shithouse. Hi Craig, I've seen the news. Do we know what they were offered and can we expect to hear if they accept it, or when can we expect to hear if they accept it? I don't know is the honest answer. I will probably and hopefully have a little bit more information for you tomorrow, mate, when I'm speaking with David Lynch. But for now, I think it's just, at least it's a good sign of progress, mate, that they've at least got some type of an offer there in front of them. And, you know, hopefully we see this moving along. I'm being very careful about the words that I use here. So without knowing what's happened with the Salah and Virgil deal, I feel in my mind I'm about 95% that they're very close to getting that done. You know, even the cryptic posts and stuff, everything leans itself into it being more upbeat. So I'm feeling pretty good about those two contracts. I've no idea about Trent. I just hope that he's seen sense and realised that he can do what he wants to do here. Mark's one. Where is it? There we go. They've bottled it again. Same old Arsenal bottling it again. Yeah. I mean, I don't have anything to add, Mark. You know, they have. And they'll try to say, like, Sky and everyone are latching on to this 4-point gap now between us and Chelsea. And look, it is a 4-point gap. But it will be a 7-point gap when we beat Everton. And even if we don't, like, let's say we lost to Everton, right? In some mad world again, like last season. Let's say we lost to Everton. Well, that's one slip-up that you would say we've had. And there's still a 4-point gap. So I'm feeling pretty good right now as a Liverpool fan. But I want us to keep the foot on the accelerator. I want us to underline our credentials. I want us to have this wrapped up by February. You know, I want us to be able to kind of coast to the league title. Because Arsenal already now can't match the 99 points tally we done. They were talking about that a few weeks ago as well. Already dropped too many points for that. And here's the thing. Most importantly, pushing aside all of our club allegiances and biases and everything else, there's nothing to say or to show us that Arsenal are capable of this run of 10, 12, 13, 14 games winning. Nothing. They haven't done it this season. You know, they've had their mini revival and then they go away and draw Fulham. So don't build Arsenal up into being this big bad bogeyman in your head. They are chasing us for a reason, because we've had a better start. Imagine Forest having more Champions Leagues than you. Arsenal need to stay in their lane. I'm loving it, by the way, but well played to you all. I'm proud of you all for the shithousery. Now, ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder, today we are just trying to let you guys know about these fantastic soccer suckers from our friends at 442. So, if you want to treat yourself to a limited edition set this year, you can get them. They're limited to 100, by the way. So check out the link at the top of the chat right there now and buy yourself something special, or that Liverpool fan in your life, or other clubs, by the way. Get yourself something special and go over to soccersuckers.com and treat yourself to something different this Christmas. If there's too many jokes possible there, by the way, with soccersuckers.com. I mean, that could also be a porn site. Let's call a spade here. It'd be a pretty good porn site, actually, wouldn't it? Thinking about it there now, like loads of men and women in their kits. Just saying. Is it me or are Arsenal boring? I don't know. Look, I also don't get the whole fuss about the set piece thing. Like, I think the set pieces are brilliant. I don't get why people are like slagging them over. I genuinely think their set piece prowess has been brilliant. And they deserve credit for that. But it also shows how heavily they've lent on that now in recent games to get back in. So if that doesn't continue to work for them as an example, or if they weaken in that area a little bit, well, that's one less thing to get them over the line and to get them to get victory. So, yeah, we've shown, by the way, against Man City, against Madrid, against others, we can win playing many different ways. We can win going on the attack, we can win going on the counter-attack. I don't think Arsenal have the same capabilities. So happy it looks like Salah will sign. Now get VVD and Trent done and I can stop bitching, said Chris. You're not on your own, Chris. I think we're all bitching a little bit about it, to be fair, mate. Carl Parkins said, Arsenal last season had 5 draws and 5 losses. Arsenal already have 5 draws and 2 losses. And we aren't even halfway through December yet, mate. Thoughts on the Chelsea win? Fair play. They showed bottle, they showed spirit, they showed fight. Spurs helped them out a little bit, but still, Chelsea did their job. And they capitalised. Arsenal dropped points, City dropped points, we didn't play. So Maresca knew if they could get this win now, they'd be on their own in second. They'd be 4 points behind us with a game in hand. So yeah, fair play to them, Spurs, still looking back at those 2 penalty incidents, I just don't understand what was going through their players' heads. Basuma was going to ground unnecessarily, and the Palmer one in particular was crazy. He was running away from goal and they just barged through the back of them. And by the way, I want to say one more thing on that game. The Caicedo challenge that Jamie Carragher feels was a blatant red, I disagree with. Now, I know you're going to say to me Craig Curtis-Jones was sent off, but I disagreed with that as well, because that was bullshit. I don't think there was anywhere near enough force in that Caicedo challenge to get into the territory of talking about red cards. If you freeze frame stuff, you can make it look bad. But like I said with the Curtis-Jones challenge, show it in full time, it doesn't look that bad. So I don't think Jones should have been sent off, and I don't think Caicedo today should have been sent off. Nate said, Craig, you're spot on about Carragher. It's nothing short of a disgrace how he thinks it's hilarious wearing a United jersey. Not only that, Nate, he's now going in again on social media accounts because he's being called out for stuff, and he just can't take being called out for stuff. Anybody who watched Sky Sports today heard Carragher coming out and saying that Cole Palmer's been the best player of the last 18 months. And whether he says 18 months or now, it doesn't make any difference. He's full of it. Salah is the best player. He knows it, you know it, I know it, Cole Palmer knows it. But for some reason, Jamie Carragher's got it into his head that he needs to go in on Mohamed Salah. So he's gone from calling him a little dancer to now bitching at him if he dares come out and speak to the media about his own contract, while still putting up unbelievable numbers and being the top scorer in the Premier League, joined there with Haaland. I don't know what on earth Carragher's at, and I don't know where his head's at, but I know I'm fucking sick of it, and I know many Liverpool fans feel the same. And today, as I said, Anfield Edition posted a Carragher. They posted to say, Jamie Carragher, quotation, I don't think there's been a better player in the Premier League that's performed better than him, Cole Palmer. And then they said, be serious, Carra, trying way too hard. So rather than just let that one go over his head, as a multi-millionaire pundit on Sky, he decides to jump back onto social media once again to go, maybe you try harder at putting the full quote out. I said he's been the best player over 18 months, which he has in my eyes. And you probably know I said that, but your desperation for likes and retweets knows no bounds. Your account is so bad, please stop following me. This from the man who was wearing a fucking United jersey during the week. For what reason? Why is he sitting there in a United jersey during a Liverpool watch-along, which, by the way, is fucking hilarious in itself, that they've resorted to doing watch-alongs now to try and keep up with actual YouTubers. And then he said, please stop following me. Here's an idea, Jamie. Fuck off talking about Liverpool, because we're all sick of listening to you. And you're not winning over anybody with this nonsense over the past few weeks. So that's my honest feeling on it. And I say this as somebody who idolises Carragher the player. And I take no pleasure in it. None. Never met the man, don't know the man. But I'm very, very confused as to why he's snapping in over stuff that he said that he knows is bullshit. And he's talking about small things. Oh, the context. The context. What's the context if you're wearing a fucking United jersey and sitting there laughing with all your mates? Ha ha ha! What's the context of that? What was the context of you going in on Anfield sector? What's the context of you bitching every time you're called out on something because you're talking absolute bollocks? What's the context on that, Jamie? Again, it's never anything he does. We're all just arseholes. You know, sitting there looking at Neville telling lies about the managerial situation at Liverpool. And does he have the balls to call him out on it? Does he fuck? No. Jobsworth sits there and says nothing. Meanwhile, Neville's there running Liverpool into the ground. Oh, Liverpool had to go down their list of 3 managers before they got the manager in. No, he didn't. And he knew that. Sitting there on the overlap, all afraid to speak out against the owners of the club who've been a fucking disgrace in the transfer market. Yet again, Jobsworths with absolutely no fucking morals to come out and call a spade a spade. So I'm sorry, Carra's in the wrong on this one, and he's been in the wrong a lot recently, and I take no pleasure in saying that. Carra still has that little bit of Everton inside of him. I don't get it. I don't understand it. You know, even with the Salah situation, right? It's like he did the Salah thing, said that he shouldn't have came out and said it, and then a week later, he's sitting there with Roy Keane in a Sky Sports studio. I can't remember who else was in the studio with them. It was Roy Keane and a couple of others, and he's still going on about the Salah thing. It's like he wants to make a bigger deal out of it. It's like he's trying to undermine the club that he professes to love by cry-arsing about Salah daring to ask for a contract. It's madness. Who else misses Sky Sports Fan Zone? Me. It was brilliant. It was brilliant. Even Roy Keane turned round to him and said, Salah's doing his talking on the pitch where it matters. Spot on. Spot on. You know? So, I'm going to do a poll on the Carragher stuff because I want to see how people feel about him. So I've worded this question very carefully because I don't want to take a cheap shot. So I'm going to say, are you fed up of Carragher talking about Liverpool? Just in general. Are you fed up of it? Yes or no? I'm not going to say running down Liverpool, just even talking about Liverpool. Sturridge, yes, that was the one. It was Danny Sturridge that was there as well. Thank you, mate. That was it. And Danny Sturridge, I thought, talked loads of sense with it in saying, I'm paraphrasing here, but Sturridge said something like, Salah has that elite mindset like a Ronaldo where, you know, nothing but respect and being acknowledged for the great player that he is good enough. Something along those lines. And again, I thought that was spot on from Sturridge. So, we are over 800 likes, my friends, and if you could do me a massive favour, hit that like button, that would be brilliant. If we get over 1,000 likes, that would be an incredible stream tonight, so thank you for that. That was against City, Craig, when Keane said he was about to talk on the pitch. All I said was it was a week or two after the initial one. So, Salah came out, I can't remember what game it was. Who was it? Bournemouth away? No, who did we play away? Southampton away? Southampton away. He came out, said what he said to the few journalists, James Pearce and a few others that was there. Then Jamie Carragher had his say on it. Then we fast forward another game. We're playing against Man City and he's still going on about it. Mewis said, to be fair, we did call Neville out on the podcast and the manager list thing, and he said he regrets letting him get away with it on telly. Don't remember him pulling him up on it on telly. So, you know, again, I just don't think it's a great look for him going in on loads of Liverpool accounts and all now. Telling everybody else that they're bad and everything. He's already been let away with a lot. Something that most people would have been sacked for. And people were like, alright, he had a moment when he spat at that person. Fair enough. He had a moment. We all have mistakes. But he doesn't seem to have learned a lesson on it. And he doesn't seem to know to maybe step away from social media when you're feeling a bit annoyed rather than cry arse at Liverpool fan accounts. Not a great look. Charlie said, used to love Carragher, but my respect has gone for him. I just wish he'd be a bit more upbeat. That's all. And stop going in on, you know, Salah and some others. And certainly to Liverpool fan accounts on social media. So, people are coming in asking me about the Salah stuff. I will read out exactly where we're at on that now. 1 second. So, David Ornstein. Let's rewind back a bit further. So, the Daily Mirror, yesterday evening, coming into today's papers, ran with a story that said, let me get it for you here. I want to read it out exactly so we don't. Said, Mo Salah on the brink of signing a new 2-year contract extension with Liverpool. So that was the initial story yesterday that came out in the Mirror. Then we had Ben Jacobs come out and say there's still work to do on Mohamed Salah's extension. Richard Hughes is leading talks and Liverpool remain calm, but nothing is agreed yet. Discussions have been described as positive, but feeling remains it could still take time. That was then followed up by David Ornstein, who went a little bit further again and said, Liverpool make opening contract offer to Mohamed Salah. Does not mean agreement done or close. Any outcome expected to take time. But Salah, Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold have all now received proposals. Talks with Liverpool ongoing. Now, I put my tinfoil hat on at this point. And I'm absolutely admitting I put my tinfoil hat on. And then I looked at Salah's post, which was either something and nothing or very cryptic. And he just posted an image of his table in front of his fireplace with 2 books on the table with some incense burning with some white smoke coming out of it. And me being me, I started to delve into it and think, what could this mean? It could mean absolutely nothing. In fact, it may mean absolutely nothing. But also, 2 books, in my head, 2 years. And the white smoke, well, much like when a new pope is elected and we have a deal, we have an agreement, the white smoke leaves the Vatican. You know? It's a stretch, I grant you, it's a stretch. But still. Heck said, if Carragher's going to make fans pick a side between him and Salah, there'll only be one winner. Look, I've no problem with him coming out and giving his opinion on Salah. But if you keep going on about it, it feels like an agenda at that point. If you think he did the wrong thing, no problem. He said it, okie doke. But still bringing it up a week later, still banging on about it, that's where I start to take a problem with it, because it's just pointless. So, we'll leave this poll running, but the question was, are you fed up of Carragher talking about Liverpool? I'll leave that running for a while longer and see if we can get a bigger subset or a bigger group sample of answers. Craig, that's far out, mate. Of course, I'm admitting it's absolute lunacy for me. I'm no problem admitting, like, I'm like Charlie in It's Always Sunny on that board, trying to join up everything. That's where my head's at. So I'm absolutely up for that stupidity of the highest order. Nathan said, I think you're spot on with the Salah post. Good. Just join me, mate, on Crazy Island here. Tinfoil hat brigades, here we come. Didn't Arsenal lose to Newcastle? Yes, they did, Rob. They did. Oh, Coach Bill said 2 books from 2 different eras at Liverpool. I believe Salah may get more than 2 years. He's the new king under Slot. Look, if I could pick a situation, I'd say 2 years with an option of a third for the club. But remember, because it's 2 years, if it is 2, on top of what he has remaining this season. So 2 years with an option of a third, I think that would be ideal. But anything that keeps him all around is the way to go. So we only need 66 more likes, by the way, to get to 1k. So thank you to everyone. And if you haven't subscribed, please do as well. As you can see, tonight we've got to 285,000 subscribers, which is absolutely insane. Thank you all so much. Never expected these type of numbers on the channel, so means so much. Craig, I remember you were saying earlier to let Salah go. So here's the thing, right? I'm absolutely open to being called out for stuff. But let's just talk about context here for a moment. Did I say Salah out? Well, yes and no. If you go back to when the 150 million offer from Saudi came in, you won't see me saying sell him, because I didn't. But what I did say was, I have previously spoken about his contracts debates being a distraction at times. I have. I did say that his form looked like it was falling down, because it was. So let's not pretend like we can't all evolve an opinion. The worrying thing would be if I was still saying it. So, like Curtis Jones, if a player turns it around and rediscovers and shows what they're doing, I'll be the first one to put my hands up and go, wow, fair play, that's brilliant. But everybody calls players out when they aren't in a good vein of form. So again, I feel like trying to hold somebody to an opinion that was a valid opinion based off a period of time where they weren't doing well, I think that's a little bit shithouse from you, to be honest with you. But, you know, as I said, for me, if I was still sitting here going, nah, he's done, that would be a problem in my eyes. But I'm man enough to admit that he turned his form back around. Maybe it was fatigue, maybe it was an injury. I don't know. But right now, he is absolutely undroppable. So, you know, that's where I'm at. And I've said it about other players, because other players, like Trent, said it about Trent as well. When I seen Trent strolling around the pitch when we lost 5-2 to Real Madrid, being ran past by Luka Modric, and looking like he didn't give a damn, I was absolutely fuming. And I'm sure everybody else was as well. So, you know, you can't hold everybody to an opinion they had 2 years ago if they've already admitted that that opinion has evolved based off the evidence they've seen. But again, not trying to say I didn't have a time where I was questioning Salah. I did. Has Salah been offered a new contract yet? Yes. We got that confirmation from David Ornstein posted today to say that all 3 have initially been offered Now, we don't know if these are offers that the club think will be accepted or whatever. There's probably a long way to go in this dance yet. But yes, we are at a point where they have had at least an initial offer. David, thank you, mate, for your super chat. Said, Cara is a god-awful pundit and Sky is awful to listen to. Mute the TV most match days. So, I find it all funny, David, because 2 or 3 years ago, a lot of these people were looking down their noses at Goldbridge, AFTV, us, and others who did watch-alongs and made content. Now, they're trying to copy us all, but they're shit at it. And the reason they're shit at it is, well, it's twofold. One, it doesn't take much for anyone to pump a load of money behind you, give you peak viewing figures and opportunities to share your wisdom. It takes a lot more to build it from the ground up with no money behind you, with genuine people who want to watch you because they like what you have to say. And they also don't have the same thing that all fan channels have, which is the ability to speak their mind. And that's why none of these will ever live up to a fan channel watch along, because they cannot say what we can say. It's as simple as that. We can show passion. We can call stuff out that they can't. We can speak against owners. We can speak against broadcasters. We have the freedom to speak our minds because we're withholding to nobody. Zevon said there's no banter between the pundits anymore, which is a shame during match days. So, I'll go back to what I said before. When Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville start working together on Sky on Monday Night Football, it was absolutely brilliant. It was an incredible way to shake up punditry, analysis of football, and it was must-watch TV. And still, some of the Monday Night Football shows are absolutely brilliant. And if Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville stopped trying to do so much other stuff and actually just focused on to what they signed up for initially, I think they'd make great stuff. They both have the ability to give great insights to the game. Both defenders, both able to point out and back up what they're trying to show. And as I said, real big fan. But I don't know what's happened over the last couple of years. I don't know. They've gone away from, I think, what gave them that difference or that cutting edge, and moved back towards what we do. And I think the content is worse for it because they were brilliant at what they did. Brilliant. Do you think Endo was a panic buy? Yes, I do. But a panic buy that made sense in the Jurgen Klopp setup. So yes, I think it was, we have to get somebody in here. And I don't think it would have happened if Edwards and Hughes was here. But also, Endo's been unlucky. Because he had a role under Jurgen and fulfilled that role well. But it's just a different role that Arne wants to be played in that position. And it speaks to Endo's professionalism and how hard he works and trains, that, you know, he just goes about his business. So I think it worked for us at the time. But bigger picture, longer term, with a new manager in, I don't think it will work in the same way, unfortunately, for Endo. And I have to say, Endo is just a model pro. Like, every time I hear the man speak, I'm just blown away by his professionalism, his dedication. You know, an absolute top fella. Craig, Gyökeres or Marmoush? I'm worried about Gyökeres since he came from the same league as Núñez. So, I think for us, Marmoush is the better player. I'm not going to sit here and say that Gyökeres might not be able to do it just because he's coming from the Portuguese league like Darwin had or whatever. I just think the way that we're going to want to play, Marmoush, and the ability to play in a few different positions is probably a better fit for us. He's also done it in a higher league, albeit for a lesser period than Gyökeres. And again, I have to say, I've always got the feeling that Victor Gyökeres is probably going to follow wherever Ruben Amorim went. Because when we were looking at Amorim as a potential for our coach, I read up quite a bit on him, and one of the things that became clear was that the only reason Victor Gyökeres went to Lisbon was to work with Ruben Amorim, and you can see why. Amorim and him together have, what a combination that's been, and the goals have just come. So I fully expect him to end up at United. I think they'll sell Xerxes and they'll bring in him in the summer. So for us, Marmoush seems the most likely, in my opinion anyway. Would you sell both Jotes and Nunes to get Marmoush and Gyökeres? But we're not going to sign Gyökeres. I know this because I've been told it umpteen times. Liverpool, he's not on our list. He's not an option for us. I've gone back and forth between Darwin and Jota and which one I think we should look to move on for different reasons. Jota has only ever been about availability. But if you were to bring in a Marmoush and he starts to score some goals, I think then maybe Jota missing a few games is a bit less of a problem. So I would still say where I'm at now, I would be looking to move Darwin on, because as much as there's been some improvement in his game, I just don't think he's the guy. No toxicity towards him or anything like that. I just think it would be best for both sides if they found a way to move him on. Do you think Carragher's comments are semi-scripted to create hype? Can't say I've ever really given that much thought. No, I wouldn't think so. No. And I got to repeat this as well. I take zero pleasure in calling Carragher out on anything, because Carragher's somebody I idolised as a player. Still that Champions League final, the balls that he showed out there on the pitch with the cramp and putting his body on the line, and he still having the wherewithal to speak as well and talk to Jerzy Dudek ahead of the penalty shootout. It pains me to say that negative about Carragher, but I can't just bite my lip when I feel like he's just being wrong on a lot of stuff. Andrew said, love Darwin, but just don't think he's improving. And thank you, mate, for being with us as a member for 12 months as well, Andrew. Appreciate that. I would say I think he's improved, but not in the areas that are going to make the headlines. So I think defensively, he's improved. Work rate wise, you're always going to get a lot from him. But ultimately, if you're a number 9 for a club like Liverpool Football Club and you're not Bobby Firmino, you're going to be judged by goals. Because we knew Bobby brought the best out of everybody. But interestingly, Mo loves playing with Darwin. Mo's spoken about the fact that he loves playing alongside Darwin. And you've got to say, they've set each other up for quite a few goals. So, there is something there maybe. Malik said, I agree, if Darwin doesn't up his game until the end, I think he said, he'd be the first one to be replaced. Yeah, I mean, the Newcastle game was my straw that broke the camel's back on Darwin, but I still want him to do well. Of course I do, but I think it's more hope than expectation at this point. So we're nearly at the 1,000 votes that we always cut the votes off on. So we still need about 15 more votes. So if you haven't voted, please do let us know your thoughts. Are you fed up of hearing Carragher talking about Liverpool? Yes or no? And when we get to 1,000 votes, we'll knock that one off. Right, we're nearly there. There we go. So 83%. So 830 odd people of the 1,000 people or so that voted feel like they have had enough of listening to Carragher talking about Liverpool. Which transfer that didn't happen hurt you the most? Oh, Caicedo. Mate, go back and watch me the night we thought we had Caicedo. That was it. We were winning everything in my mind. All of it. For years. That would have been huge. And even when he went through his bad patch with Chelsea and people were saying we got lucky. I said, I still didn't give up. I said, no, I think Caicedo's a really, really good player. So, yeah, that one stung. Definitely. What old player for Liverpool can you see Jones turning into? God, I don't know. I just hope he can keep up what he's doing, Glenn, because the Jones redemption arc under Arne Slot is being brilliant. And no news that I have, mate, on Jota. Tuck said any Jota news, not that I'm aware of. Off the Post said, hi Craig, is there an argument for Mohamed Salah being our greatest ever player? So, it's a bit of a cop-out answer, this. But I don't personally like to talk about greatest ever anything while somebody's still playing. Because I might say no now, and Mo might win 2 trebles in a row, as an example. So I think it's only fair for me when you have these conversations when a player's finished. So a bit of a bottler answer, I know, but it's an honest answer. I can't see a world where anybody gets ahead of Kenny Dalglish, because I think what Kenny did for the club and around the club was more than just what happened on the pitch. You know, it was Hillsborough and everything around that, and what he stood up and did for the city, and attending the funerals, and the toll it took on him. You know, it was superhuman. So, I don't think so, but, you know, I guess it's a subjective thing as well. You know, it's a bit of what you like. But he's going to be in the conversation by the time he's finished, especially if he continues breaking records. Any Zubi news? Nope, not that I'm aware of, Gino, mate. Nothing new, unfortunately. What trophies do you think Liverpool will win this season? I was only talking about that with Connor earlier on. I'd love a double of any variety, as long as one of them is a Champions League or a Premier League. So let's say we went on to win the league title. A league title and any other trophy, even if it was just a League Cup. I think that would be a brilliant season. Because any time you win one of the 2 big ones, it's a great season. I'm not at a point yet where I'm feeling, I don't say confident, because we will be in the mix, but it's really difficult to feel that you will win a Champions League. Because anything can happen in knockout football. A suspension, a red card, a crazy 15 minutes, you know. You need to ride your luck a little bit as well in some of them cup competitions. So I take any double that involves a league title and another trophy. If it's the 2 big ones, oh, wow. Is Mo better than Stevie? The fact Stevie didn't win the Premier League and the fact Mo has also won the Champions League. Again, though, I think comparables are important. Like, look around. You know, you could make an argument that the team that had Mascherano, Alonso, Gerrard, that probably could have made a better fist to having a push at the title. But I don't know. Steven Gerrard's a bit of a Roy of the Rovers for me. You know, just grabbing a game on his own by the scruff of the neck and just defining it. Whether it be the Champions League final, dropping back into right back, the FA Cup final against West Ham. He's superhuman to me, Steven Gerrard. So, I don't know. I don't know if anybody will ever pass Gerrard of my lifetime for me, because I didn't watch Kenny play. So, it'd probably take a lot to get past Stevie, but maybe. Have I ever been to Anfield? Yes, mate. More than 30, 40 times. In fact, I think the first videos we put up on the channel were us at Anfield. So yeah, been plenty. Haven't been in a while now, to be fair, and I'm getting over in January, but Okay, he went. So the only thing on Zubimendi, by the way, Mark just sent to me, is that apparently he went off after 50 minutes with a knock in Sociedad's game. Where are your Christmas decorations? We have none up, like zero in the house, Paul, and that's not my decision. The family just like, oh, we can't be arsed. Kids don't want any up. Mrs. doesn't want any up. So yeah, no Christmas decorations. If you mean on the channel, I don't want any up, to be honest. The detective said, overall, a good weekend despite not playing. I think there's pros to the derby being rescheduled. We'll get some minutes for injured players coming back against Girona. So I think the more I've thought about it, the detective, the more I've come down to the idea that there are more good things from the derby being postponed. It gives McAllister almost a 2-week breather. It gives us more time to get injured players back as well. So Canade, Bradley, by the time we play the derby, you probably have those guys back as well. So yeah, I think overall, if we get top 8 in the Champions League and we avoid the playoff round, you can probably squeeze the game in there. Look, my voice is absolutely about to give way, so I'm going to say goodnight to you all. Appreciate you all though. Thank you so much for joining me tonight again. To everybody that's commented, to everyone that's hit the like button, subscribed, thank you all. If you're watching silently in the background as well, thank you. And don't forget as well to check out the supersuckers.com from our friends at 44 Tunes. If you're looking for something unique this Christmas, you can get them with the link at the top of the chat and in the description of the video. And we will be back tomorrow. Preview coming out tomorrow morning. Video with David Lynch being recorded tomorrow afternoon. And of course then we'll be back for a late night agenda tomorrow night. Super chat just before I finish up. Anfield trip must be a travel/match vlog. Nope. It is Craig going, enjoying the game and not thinking about work. May do some of the stuff when we're travelling in the van or whatever over, but in and around the game I want to just sit there and enjoy it and take it all in. So look, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you all for joining me. Much love. Bye bye.